And let's then take you to another story, of course, that has been making the headlines this afternoon and throughout the conference.
I wonder what it is. Such a mystery.
That has been the ANC conference. Social media has been abuzz with this one, and we've been sitting through quite a lot of tweets. And the one person who has this particular task is Stembiso Stole, who's our social media specialist, who has been watching what some of you have to say on social media. So let's talk about Fikile Mbalula. I mean, yesterday, being in the room, listening to his press conference, Iman, the Riot Act was really read out, and I had to ask myself, is this a sign of the times? What is social media saying?
Interesting, Iman and Ebongiwe, you're correct. The new sheriff has arrived in town. As we reflect on that, you're correct. We had that press conference where Mbalula, of course, was really talking about his sentiment when it comes to social media, talking about how he's going to really take over the party. And Iman, I must say, the sentiment there, of course, on social media is that they are believing that he's going to rejuvenate the ANC when it comes to the next elections of the party. They say he's the right person to do the job. Another sentiment is that Fikile Mbalula and Gwede Mantashe are the best people that Cyril will ever really ask to be with.
I mean, just a quick one before we move on, and I know you want to talk about Gwede Mantashe, and in a sense how there's this flanking and scaffolding of strength around the president at a time where he really needs it. He needs to consolidate his power base given the machinations in the lead up to his election. But Bongiwe and I were just commenting in a conversation in that final news briefing on the adjournment of the conference itself, that there's an aspect of levity in the tonality of both the conference and in the briefing that is in direct and stark opposition to what's happening in the country right now. We're just announcing some breaking news around the move again to stage 6. They're too relaxed and too playful in a context where we need deep focus and real ideas on what's to happen next.
Definitely, and that's true, Iman. That's the sentiment also around him, to say we've heard it all about the policy, we need service delivery. And that's that. And in terms of, that's why everyone, as you can see on the social media on the screen, that everyone is just focusing on to say, let's focus on service, let's focus on the key things that really concern us in between in terms of that. But also at the same time, like Bongiwe said, there's that thing to say now that he has arrived. That means we'll be hearing more of him in between. Also interesting, the others are simply saying, actually, he will now, Malema will have someone who's similar like him when it comes to press conferences, who will be able to articulate themselves. But most importantly, they're simply saying he'll be able to rebrand the ANC, as he's always credited for being a full soldier on the ground in between. And then, of course, in addition to that, there are others who are criticizing Iman and Bongiwe, basically saying to him, how is he going to actually excel in this task, given the fact that he was a transport minister and there are potholes in our countries. Basically saying he's just being rewarded for actually going to different positions, not being able to deliver. So he has a lot to do and to prove himself.
And Stembi says, I'm watching some of the tweets here. You know, some of the people really talk about this notion that they want to accelerate service delivery, which kind of, you know, for a number of the voters, it's about elections ultimately. And this is a party that has been on a decline over the years, and a lot of people post Nasrec are saying that they're looking forward to 2024.
And that's that, Bongi. We're talking about the issue of potholes, we're talking about the issue of pit toilets, we're talking about water, we're talking about load shedding. And for me, at this point in time, that speaks to the heart of it. Issues were debated, issues were deliberated, but at the same time, it's a matter of now going to the heart of it. Most importantly, also at the same time, they're also now talking about how the ANC should be united. We all know that KZN, of course, there were challenges in between, but the point that they're making to say, now KZN, you might have different issues, but you need to regroup, align. Also take it back to Stan Matabate in Limpopo to simply basically say, remove the rhetorics. But at this point in time, let's find ways to actually look into the issue that when it comes to service delivery and making sure that the ANC really does resonate and goes back to its to the likes of Harry Kwala and all those who have led the party, Iman.
Yeah, and one wonders what his next position is going to be. I hear some positions bandied around, speaking, spokes. I mean, just something to that effect. But let's not perpetuate rumor and gossip. I think what's remarkable is, and what's important for our viewers is, we were, and we styled it as such, blow by blow rolling coverage, and there was a lot happening almost at every moment, of course, with the lulls in between for the closed sessions. But what was the sentiment, Stare, in terms of those who don't have a vested interest necessarily in the conference itself, who are not members and who are likely not voters of the ANC. What were some of the other conversation pieces and trends that you were noticing in the broader topography of the 55th conference?
I think some of the other topics that you're talking about, the concern also was the issue of the festive season. You know, a lot of people just saying the issue of, I mean, there must be a lot of police enforcement, similar to the way they deploy the police there in the conference. Iman, remember you were together there in Lorado Park, where the community in Lorado Park were talking about the issue of drugs gang related. Now they're basically saying we're in the festive season. Those challenges that we're facing in El Dorado when it comes to policing are not resolved. Where else now at this point in time we're seeing this heavy police presence in Nazareth, Bongi.
And Sembi, so I wonder if, you know, while we talk about some of these concerns, have there been any who've had, you know, some good words for Fikile Mbalula, some who are viewing his appointment, in fact, election, as the, you know, the Secretary General of the party, as a positive thing for them?
Definitely, there are also positive elements. They're saying he's the only one actually who will be able to unite the top seven now, Nomvula Mukwenyane and the likes, because of course the other statement that Mbalula seems to be someone with a strong personality, similar to Nomvula, but they're saying because of his political maturity, he'll be able to mediate. Iman, you must not forget that one of the key things that he said, and we're seeing that on social media, he said one of the key tasks is to go and speak to the former President Jacob Zuma. As we've heard, Vizolin Zimavabi alluded to that he has never seen that within the ANC, and one of his tasks there, as we conclude, is that he's going to then go to Nkandla, have that tea, and actually engage with the president, just to get a sentiment what are on his thoughts.
And it will be interesting to see what comes out of that one.
Absolutely, but I just want to say, you know, to you, well done actually for keeping pace. I think you had your, you know, your tackies on the entire time. You were quite bouncy and brought us stuff immediately as it happened. So.
I hope you get some sleep. I've been saying that. I wonder when do you sleep?
I promise.
We've got cupcakes on the side of the studio for you. Thanks so much, Stembisa Sitole, our social media specialist, just watching and you know, explaining some of the big trends that emerged on this, the closing day of the ANC's elective conference.